People we're talking about this morning, she is one of those people. She knows every lunch hour she likes to have her chips and her sausage. It's an easy, cheap meal, right? And I'm sure you can resonate with that. On a typical day, she goes in, places her order, comes in, and it's cold. She loves their fries. You know those fries that are nice and juicy, those fries that are not dripping in fat. And she goes there, but today something is different about how her order is administered. Firstly, the fries are not fresh. They also are not hot. Okay, she's a little bit frustrated and is trying to point out to the attendant that, listen, something's not quite right with my order. She's feeling ignored. Sarah, my fight. Probably like you. You accept that this order has gone horribly wrong. You leave without your usual smile. And then you come back the next day. And you intimate with and then the lady on the other side, let's call her Chipo. Chipo then says, okay, look, we're very sorry about what happened. Perhaps today we can add in a free pet with your usual chips and sausage. You seem happy. Would you be happy? Would you be delighted that this is you being heard and feeling valued? And guess what? You do get the pet. The chips are better this time. That sausage is nice and hot. This is the power of understanding what your consumer behavior and possibly the psychology is looking like. When you address Sarah's pain and her frustration and her emotional needs. I'm curious to know, how do they fix your sausage and cold French fries, if at all? They haven't fixed that. And if you are running a business by now, you might have had one or two complaints about the service or something that you have done or one of your people has done. We're still asking, how did you fix this, in their bid to try and understand how customer experience is what will make or break your business. Takatanga Vikrunoya, if you remember, we went all the way to Israel. No, I'm kidding. We had Israel, Nemanga, and do a seasoned banker and an expert in customer experience coming in to help us understand what the difference is between just creating customer care, but creating a journey where the person you want to buy from you and to come back actually comes back. And yet somehow you have different faces, not quite the same Sarah coming into your place. Did I tell you that Israel is also a board member of Customer Experience Association of Zimbabwe? He's also interested in a voiceover artist, voiceover us. And when he's not helping people like you and I improve our business with customer service, he's also highly spirited in terms of entrepreneurial events. I'll give you his social media handles a little bit later, but let me start off by welcoming Israel. Good morning, welcome Israel. Excited to have you back, helping us understand the mindset behind customer experience.
Thank you, FoLake. Good morning, viewers, and good morning, listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I'm really passionate about customer experience, and I hope whatever we are going to say here will assist you as an entrepreneur and as a customer.
And yes, he is right. We're also live on our Facebook page, so you can also hop onto our Facebook page. You can also send in your questions, as we are trying to gain some insights into psychology of customer experience, how you can unlock those secrets to make sure that you're not only getting the same customer coming back to Sarah, but you're also inspiring loyalty. Israel, each customer is different, right? Each customer comes in with different needs, with different concerns. Would you say then that customer experience is an objective experience?
Yeah, customer experience. It depends on how you view it. But customer experience is objective in the sense that you don't just look at a customer with one eye, mm-hmm. or put them in one blanket. Mm-hmm. They are different, and different customers will require different customer experience, or they will require different products, because people are satisfied with different things. Mm-hmm. So that's why we then bring segmentation. You look at a segment, what does that segment need? How should we say, how can we be able to satisfy this segment, and so forth? So customer service or customer experience itself, it's objective.
And so when we're looking at meeting your customers' expectations, is the idea to surpass them or just to meet them?
Right, just like I can give an example
Sure.
of a soccer match. What is better to have a score of 1-0 or you have 5-0? If you win by 1-0, yes, you have won. But if you win by 5-0, you have just exceeded it. It's the same applies to customers. If you meet your customers' needs, that's okay. But you need to exceed the customer's expectations. That will determine whether that customer is going to come back. A customer whose needs has been exceeded, that customer will be super happy, and the probability that they will continue coming back is very high because you have exceeded the customer's expectations.
0719 As someone in business, have you actually ever exceeded your customers' expectation? How did you know that you exceeded them? What did you do? Share with us on 0719 Is it actually even possible to exceed your customers' expectation when you are in business? Say, how do you exceed your customers' expectations? And maybe as we're trying to understand what that looks like, Israel, exceeding expectations of your clients or your customers, what are actually some of those negative things that we are typically doing that can actually make a customer feel dissatisfied?
Right. Depending on the industry that you are in. But if you are in an industry where people really see the product, it means your product should be able to satisfy the customer. We look at the features. You were talking about the meal. That's a physical product. The person is seeing the product, that these chips are not the way I should, or they should, the way they should be. It means you're actually seeing the product. So if the product, it does not look the way you want it to look, then customers will be satisfied, will be dissatisfied. And if the product does not taste the way it should taste, then that customer is satisfied. And we talk of delivery. How long does it take for you to get the product? And if there is a problem with the product, how long does it take for the issue to be resolved? So if those things are in the negative side, it means the customer will be dissatisfied. The customer will not be happy.
0719 I was just checking with you in your experience in business. FoLake, I exceeded the customer's expectation. What did you do? And how did you know you had exceeded their expectation? And as you've been in business, maybe what, 3 months, a year, 5 years, 10, 12, can you actually see that most of your clients are return business? Or are you having more people walking through your door than those that keep coming back? 0719 We want to know from you what your experiences are as far as the customer service is concerned. Today, we want to tap into the mind of the customer. What is it that makes a customer become loyal? What is it that makes a customer stay and keep coming back to you? And kuda uri musoni chaiye vanhu vako vanoramba vachiuya kwauri dhuze une muriwo wako waunotengesa. And we're not just saying the convenience of saying kana ndatosvika ndotozara kuda kumwe ndangotenga. When you know that your customer is one that's fallen in love with your service, with your product, what do you think you're doing right that makes them keep coming back? 0719 We want to hear from you.
Alright, Junior, and you are listening to FoLake, the Nubian Queen, International Africa.
We were just sharing the experience of Sarah, Israel, how, Sarah loves to have her lunch in a certain way. Most people do.
Yeah.
And it's not just lunch. And sometimes you end up going to a certain place because they give you what you want. There's no element of uncertainty. There's no element of you are not in control of the situation, of your product, of the service. Why do you think a sense of control is important to us as a customer when we are trying to make a purchase, and how that can build to making good customer experience?
Right. I think in business, we always hear the statement, customer is king. If a customer is king, then it means they're able to control things that happen to them. That's what every business wants to be like. Business want customers to be in control. We shape our products, or we make our products in line with the needs of the customer. We deliver the products in line with the requirements of the customer. So the customer wants to be in control of what is happening to them, and that can come in the form of what type of education are we giving the customers. If we give customers more information about our product, it means they're in control. They know how to make decisions because they have information at their fingertips. And we can also give customers that control by self-service. The customers save themselves. They go to an ATM, they save themselves. They go they have internet banking. They are making their transactions on their own. That self-service, it gives customers the control of how the experience will be like. So those are the things that can help the customers to be in control of the service that they can get from the customer. And also, customers have power, especially nowadays. Customers have power because of the access to the social media platforms, access to internet. They can determine how the organization can treat them, because once they post on social media, the company is bound to respond. If the organization is not performing well, they are forced to change things and give the customers what they want because of the power of social media. So customers, they really need to be in control. They really want to be in control, and I think it's much more easier these days because of internet and social media.
Yeah. So, but in I'm looking at the informal trader where you're starting up, and sometimes you may not have the gizmo. Sometimes like self-service. Musoni atoa na mono wawia uzosonisa embedze mchatu. Achipinda pa do piper. How do I, as a service provider, in that moment think of removing uncertainty for that customer experience? I mean, breaking it down to make it very plain. What does that look like?
Right. Like we indicated in customer experience, it is a journey. It is a journey. The moment they hear about you, how did they hear about you? What made them aware of what you do? That interaction, did they see on social media? If they saw you on social media, how was the interaction like? If they asked a question on social media, how long did it take for you to respond? That's the starting point. And then when they come in, the way you treat them, the way you interact with them, the way you ask them what they want, and the way you then make the product. Do you make the product according to the customer's needs? Right. Up to the time you deliver, the time you take for you to finish the product, and does the customer have to come to you and ask whether the product is okay, or you phone the customer that your order is now okay? All those interactions, they will determine how the customer then feels about you, and how the satisfaction levels will be like. So yeah, from at that level, those things are very important, so that because they determine how the customer then feels. So it's the interaction from the time they come to know of you. You're welcome when they come to your shop. At the time you take to make the order ready, whether you phone the customer or the customer comes to check for 3 days, coming to check whether the order is okay, and the service that you then give afterwards. It's good when you make someone, you give someone, it's good to follow up. If it's a wedding gown, how did it go? How was the gown? What did people say about the gown and so forth after the person has bought from you?
Yeah.
That whole journey, I think it gives the customer that satisfaction.
Mabama ndifungiza imwe nyaya takambotara nezvayo. Savatetewo ndaendawo kumamitingi emuchati iwawa. Muchati akabvunzwa kuti kokekera apapi. Svika iyoyo ndakatoblokwa nemubheki. I'm just reflecting what you were saying, that as a client, as a customer, I want to be able to check on the progress of my gown. I want to feel safe and in control of the situation. Mubeki kwai unobika makeke anongisamvura. Asakashika pa kubloka a client.
Yeah, that's complacency. Complacency at its highest. As business people, what we need to understand is the business environment is very dynamic. Things are not permanent in business. You may be the market leader today, but it's very easy to change. We've got big names that we knew, especially in the phone industry. We have big names that we knew, but within a very short time, we no longer see those names. It's because of that complacency that you feel you are indispensable. Once that crops into your mind as a business person, then there's a danger there. But we have organizations, this is a market leader, but they continue putting that effort to stay on top. So it's not about staying top, it's also about maintaining that position in the market. That person may be very good at making cakes and so forth, but that position is not permanent. Because once that person is dissatisfied, you go on to tell other people that I was blocked by this. Imagine you were told that person was spreading the message that I was blocked. Which means the message will go viral.
Yeah, but I find that a lot of times business owners, sometimes informal traders, are not worried too much, or entrepreneurs sometimes are not worried too much about that thing that what will people say. In other words, the thinking or the mindset that the customer is king sometimes feels as if seems to be a thinking that's more common, more embedded than the idea that, listen, every single person who walks through that door is your ambassador, is their experience matters to the growth of your business.
Yeah, that mentality, I think that can result in you staying where you are or even going down, because you are not making effort to grow, because the customer is the person who makes you grow. Because tell me which business, what business which does not depend on the customer. It's the customer which makes you grow. So if you have that mindset that people will always come, a time will come when they will not come because the message will have spread. So that could be the reason why some businesses are not growing, because you are not taking the customer seriously. Because nowadays, as I indicated, nowadays it's very easy for information to spread. Once I'm dissatisfied, I'll tell the other person. That person tells another person. Just a click of a button will give the information to a lot of people, and that will affect you as a business person. So the way you treat your customers will determine where you go as a business person, whether you're going to stay there, whether you're going to go down, or whether you're going to go up.
That's the voice of Israel Nemangandu, a seasoned banker, but is also a customer experience expert. Is giving us some insights into things we need to be thinking about and trying to understand the mind of your client or your customer. What is it that keeps them loyal to your service? What is it that keeps them coming back day after day, week after week, month after month? And then I know sometimes maybe you're only selling couches. Nobody buys couches every 2 or 3 days, right? But whenever they need an upgrade, they're coming to you. You know at the back of your mind that the time they've been away, they haven't been anywhere else but to you. What is it that you are doing right, do you think, that makes your customers keep coming back to you? Would you say you exceed your customers' expectations, as we asked earlier, or you don't? Do let us know on 0719 100 404 3641. Good morning.
Mangwanani marara sei
Tabata zvakanaka.
kuti audio yangu inenge isina kunzwika zvakanaka. Ndati ini ndinogadzira upfu hwezviyo, mhunga, mapfunde neraisi rebhurauni rekumusharia. Chandinoita chinochengetedza makasitomazi angu, kumeka shuwa kuti ndinoita zvinhu zvangu zvakachena, uye kana yasvika nguva yekuti ndakuenda kuchigayo, ndakanga ndasokora ndapepeta, ndinogara pasi ndega kusarudza tumatombo tungarumira twese, zvekuti wese atenga upfu kwandiri anongodzoka achiti handisati ndambodya upfu hwezviyo husingarumire, handisati ndambodya upfu hwemhunga, mapfunde, raisi rekumusha zvisingarumire zvachose. Saka
oh dear, I mean, we were looking forward to this audio note and it's taken a life of its own. Ah, dear, your phone was buzzing. But thank you so much for sending us that. Israel, she's just giving us insights in what she thinks makes her customer comes back. Now the customer is not seeing her, cleaning and the time she's taking into this. So what do you think the customer is picking up from her product and her service that keeps them coming back? The customer doesn't see that, but there's clearly something she's doing right. What do you think that is?
Right. What we do in the background is also important. That's why I usually say customer experience. It's an organization-wide commitment. It's not a department issue. She talked about going to the grinding mill, and then she talked about a process of selecting or removing those things. Those things will be done at the back. People are not seeing that, but those things are very important. Which means customer experience, it starts from the time the people are not seeing anything that is happening up to the time that they now see the product. So it's that the whole process. There should not be shortcuts in the whole process up to the time the product gets to the customer. That will determine the quality of the product. It's good that she pointed out. She knows what affects customer. Chinowanzokanganisa vanhu pahweziyo kana kuti hwekurumira ndokunokanganisa. So people get that frustration. Vanenge vachida hufu, but they get that frustration because you'll be enjoying the meal and then all of a sudden you meet that. So she knows the pain points of the customers, and then she's trying to address that so that customers can get a perfect product or can get value for their money, which means she's a very good business person because she knows what troubles the customer. Once you know the pain points and you address those pain points, you're likely to satisfy or exceed your customers' needs.
So would you say you know your customers' pain points? 0719 100 muzaka ndakutoda kutsvaga number ya mama brown rice hupfu hwavo vezviyo ndinorifarira sei nyaya yamataurayo mazina apera umusechigayo nokudla matombo oga oga. And I love the fact that you understand what it is your customer wants. Kuiwewe zvako zvaunoita izvozvizvo wazoti chii chaunoita unoziva here zvaunoita zvinofurikidza tarisiro inenge ichibva kune vanhu vanotenga kubva kwavuri. Zvii zvaunoita wakaziya sei that you are exceeding their expectations? Did they tell you? Did they write to you? We want to hear from you. 0719 100 404. Israel was just talking there about the pain points that your customer may have. No, taura nyaya iyoyo futi iyo yekuziva magwadzo echinhu chaunotengesa chaunogadzira nepanozosangana mutengi. The pain points. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Right. The pain points, those are the things that customers complain about. The things that customers are not happy about. It could be in the form of the service that is given. It could be in the form of the products, the defects on the products. The product is not doing what it should be. The product is not performing the way it should. Those are the pain points. And one of the ways to pick at those pain points is to look at what customers say. Give customers the platform to say what they need to say. Give them the platform for giving reviews. It could be negative reviews, positive, welcome everything, because that will help you in improving your product. So once you know the pain points, you need to take action. Like zvakaitwa namama kuti wakaziva kuti aya izvi ndo zviri kunetsa customers, and then she takes action. It's different from knowing what is troubling the customer and then you ignore that, which means you will not be able to improve the product. So pain points are very important. You might think the people are being negative, but they're actually helping you so that you can improve your product.
So as you are in business and you're listening in, do you think you are a service provider that is able to receive feedback, particularly negative feedback? And wakaita samaisha men mausingaudziki chunu ndoudzwa kuti mune matombo muzvenyu handisikurea ava vasimaisha men. We're just speaking proverbially. That if you were someone who was in this business, unovudzika here kuti takasangana namatombo kana kuti unotokakavadzana kuti manje harisupfu hwangu ini ndinotovata usiku hwose ndichinyatsomeka shoti hamuna matombo. How well do you receive feedback when it comes to you? And I'm curious to hear from you. 0719 100 404. Do let us know that one time that you did receive negative feedback And was it easy to swallow, or you were fighting it? And how do you also make sure that you're exceeding your customers' expectation? Israel was just talking to us there about appreciating the pain points of your customer. Iwewe zvauri kuita izvo zvakuti wakuziva here zvinhu zvinoita kuti vanhu vanyanyonetsekana nezvinhu zvaunotengesa kana zvaunogadzira, zvingangovawo zvimwe zvinhu zvaunoshandisa iwewe as your leverage to make sure that you retain the customer, but that they're also coming back to you, and that you're also speaking to the experience the customer is experiencing from you. Kuno mumwe munhu izvo anogona kuruka musoro kuti apedza maiwi unenge wakachena, but the journey to having that hairstyle down unenge wagwadziwa, pamwe anenge achitaura nyaya akambotaridza chivhayo, wombotaura jinimbi, wombotaura dzezvigoritoto musaluni momo, yoruda ngoita zvaunoita uchibuda iye ngoti aiwa akapa ndoziva kuti ndogona kuruka, right? Failing to appreciate the pain points of your customer. So whilst we are on the idea of pain points, how do we now use customer experience, which you've been teaching us about, to make sure that your potential customer is reaching the point where they actually then engage with your product? Now we are talking to somebody who is a newbie to you. My Stella vanoruka zvakanaka. How do you now get your potential clients to engage with the product?
Right. Engagement with
or the
product.
Service.
The service, yeah. Right. As a business person, you need to know where you can get your customers. That's why we talk about prospecting. You look at where can I get the customers? How can customers reach me if they want my product? Yes, it can be by word of mouth. It can be they can reach you on your social media platforms. I'm sure most of the business people, even the smallest of the business people, they now know the importance of social media. You put yourselves out there, you make customers reach you and so forth. So as in terms of the person who is a hairdresser, it's good that you need to put yourself out there. The experience that you give to the customers, that will then determine what are people saying about you. But then you talked about how you get into a salon, say, if that person does not look at those things and address those things, people will not reach them. People will not come to them. So it's all about how you position yourself. You put yourself out there on social media. You give referrals. You give people your contacts so that they can contact you. You interact with people. You network with people so that you get to be known and people will come to you and get your service.
A satisfied customer, good mouths to only three others, but a dissatisfied customer, bad mouths to 11 more.
That's very it can be even worse than that.
It can be even worse.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. A company can also conduct customer satisfaction surveys in order to get some insights into the customer's pain points. That's really great. Tailoring this survey, there's a way of asking questions, right? To make sure that you get the right sort of feedback so you can harness the correct information. Any ideas of what we should be thinking about in this survey, Israel, or devising this feedback mechanism that actually gives us the results that will be useful to us?
Right. When it depends whether it's a targeted survey or you are just doing a survey in general. If it's a targeted survey, you then need to know what is it that I want to know. And then you come up with questions that can lead to you getting information. Those questions, they should be understandable. They should be short. They should be understandable, and they should look at the things that you really want to know. Because once the people fail to understand what you want from them, and then it becomes difficult. And if the questions become too long, and if the survey becomes too long, people do not have time. They want something that they can do in the shortest possible time. So that's very important when coming up with a survey. But in terms of general surveys, it's it's good that you can put those questions as general questions so that you get feedback, even the feedback that you do not want at that moment, or even the feedback that you are not soliciting at that moment. So you need to put out open questions where a customer can openly talk about a lot of things within one question.
Yeah.
So it depends now on whether it's a targeted survey or you just want to get feedback in general, and that will determine the type of questions that you are asking and so forth. But it's important that you make your questions understandable to the target market or to the target people that you want to get information from. It means that you should not use jargon and should not use complicated words that can make customers fail to understand what you want to get from them.
Yeah. They say that, you know, people don't judge their experiences, the entire experience, but just moments in that experience. Unoza kuti kana uchinda kumusha nyaya yako inogona kugumisa pekuti makaita puncture mukambopaka mukavata paside pemugwagwa hamuzotauri kuti makavona zvinhu zvinonakidza kuda makaona shunga ichiyambo. There's certain things that you won't mention, and you define this whole experience maybe by one bad experience or possibly even one good experience. They say, Israel, memories are biased and they're not created on recalling everything, but just averaging parts of that experience. So how do we make sure we are building moments for our customers to have the opposite of pain points, which would be pleasure points, right? Where panogona kuresheka machips anogonawo yakatsvirira but zvimwe zvose zvaasangana nazvo will overshadow kutsvirira kwemachips, and they'll overlook that.
Yeah, like what the other person said, that it's very easy for customers to pick the wrong things than for them to pick the good things. You might give them the best experience along the way, but when one thing goes wrong, customers will remember that. So it's as business people, it's also important that you know how to recover from that experience. From the example that you gave, I understand the customer was then given a drink. So we are trying to recover. We are trying to recover from the poor service that we give. Those are some of the things that we can do to make customers, should we say, forget the bad experiences that they've come across. I mean, in that case, if that customer is given an extra thing and we give an apology and we genuinely give an apology, that customer is bound to forget the bad experience that they may have come across. So that's part of the service recovery, where we try to address the issue and go an extra mile so that the customer cannot remember that moment. In that case, it is important also to note that the customer will then remember that in the case of drinking part of which will be a good thing.
Yeah. So you've just reminded me of an exercise that I used to do. So I don't know if you know this, Tuesday is Terrific Tuesday.
Yes.
And kare vaitonyora to ukasawana zvinhu zvako within, I think it was 7 or 10 minutes, I can't remember. You'd get one free. Takambozvilaza zvinhu zviya. Because but they were smart because they had devised a system where their clock was slightly different. Saka yopa uchatarisa parisiti newachi yako, you would think you're within the time, but they never were. They were smart, right? I don't know why I thought of that in this moment. As we were talking, thank you so much, 3297. Keep sharing with us the moments you feel like you have exceeded your customers' expectations. What did you do, and how did you know this? Like I felt as if I felt heard as a customer. What is it that they did right? Tafaratiwa, mama vanogadzira zviyo, vanogadzira rice ravo rebrown riya rekumushariya, and she knows exactly what she's doing right. Do you know what you're doing right? What makes your customer keep coming back from you? We're going to Adbeni now. Good morning. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. Let's try that again. Good morning.
Who treat customers like they're a monopoly and treat them bad just because they've got the larger customer base. I think it's so wrong. In the words of Lucky Dube, you are good on your people on the way up the ladder, but you treat them bad on down. It is true. You are on your way down. For God resists the proud. So just be good to all. Just be humble enough to take opinions of your customer and try to better yourself. Perhaps you might go regional or international. It only starts in the way you work things. Self-introspection is very important for business people.
And the self-introspection is very important for business people. And vakawanda vana maishami vasingaudziki chunhu unoziva zvose wena nyangwe zvikai zvakadai unoita nharo kakavadzana seuchagwisana nemunhu wauri kutengesera zvinombobvepi izvozvo? This idea that that you think you're a monopoly, that the customer needs you more than you need them. Zvoshanda here izvozvo, zvigoita here izvozvo. Talk to us 0719 100 hanzi ndobika masamusa ndakambochinja flyer ndikashaya ndashaya mazuva ose macustomer akati flower yamakushandisa haisi kunaka, so ndakatozoitsvaka kusvika ndaiwana vakafara and zvinhu ngazvive perfect and zvinhu ngazvive perfect uchinyatsozvipa nguva nekuva neutsanana pazvinhu zvaunoshandisa. I love this. Ndomwe munhu akateerera zvakataurwa namacustomer ake.
Yeah, listening to what customers say, it's very important. It's just like in a personal relationship. You need to open up feedback. If you are given feedback, be receptive to the feedback, because that feedback will make you a better person. So as business people also, when customers come to you and complain about something, it's important to note those things, because those are the things that can give you ideas, not only to improve yourself, but you can also come up with other products, because customer will be saying, yes, we are having this product, it's a nice product, but what if you do this? What if you do this? That'll be a source of ideas for you, for new products that you can be able to give to customers. So it's very important that you be receptive to customers' feedback, because it's good for you more than it is good for the customers.
It's good for you more than it's good for the customers. That's the voice of Israel, who's been giving us some insights into becoming better businesses, where we are tapping into the thinking of the people you want to be part of your business, to the person you want to keep coming back, to him that you want to tell 10 other people that you are there so that your business grows. But you can't do that if your customer is feeling unheard, if they feel dismissed, if they've told you that the flour you're using is not working and you simply choose to not respond, if it feels as if they are not in control of the whole transaction, you might have a problem. As we are rounding up our discussion, Israel, talk to us about the power and the importance of making the process, the experience for your customer seem as easy as possible. Now easy, but it's your job, I'd imagine, as a service provider, as the product maker, to make it feel as if either getting the products is as easy, whether it's using it is as easy. How do we do that?
Right. As an organization, I think most of the organizations use the process of journey mapping. They look at they put themselves in the shoes of the customer from the time. Yes, you put yourself in the shoes of the customer. Kuti pauri kutanga product yako, customer irudei, and then how will the customer get the product? It means we are looking at the logistics. The customer each one a product say, and how is the customer going to be saved pairukuwana product? Is it easy? How long does it take? Or is it, are people going to queue for the product? Are they going to spend 2 hours to get the product? And then you look at when they get the product, is the product the right product for them? Product. Like what people were saying about is it the right product for the person? My pain points. If at all there are pain points, you then address those pain points to make sure that the customer is happy. And then after that, it's also good to go back to look at after sales service. After you have serviced the customer, are you getting in contact with the customer, asking them, how was the product? What do you think we can do to improve our product? That whole process is very important, and you keep engaging the customers so that you keep relevant to them, because what customers want is their needs to be satisfied. So if you keep engaged, if you keep on engaging with customers, you will be in a position to continuously satisfy their needs, and that will make you stay in business, and you grow.
Well, we've been learning a lot, haven't we, in the last couple of weeks, understanding how important the idea that customer is king. So, by this, are you convinced, believing that everything you do is about your customer and that you must treat them and make them feel like royalty from the moment they walk through the door, from the moment they are engaging with your product? And today, by the way, the 17th of June, did you know? And this is according to Today in African History. I'm taking you back to 1896. Can you imagine on this day that the Mashonaland Rebellion kicked off in what is now known as Zimbabwe today? It's said that Nehanda Nyakasikana, a spiritual leader, rallied her people against the British settlers on this day. But, of course, the British were not having it. As you may know, they used dynamite to destroy caves where women and children were seeking refuge. And it's also said Nehanda was eventually captured and executed in 1898. But here's the business lesson in this, I'd say. Even in the face of adversity, leadership and resilience can always inspire a nation. And when you look at Nehanda's legacy, not only does it live on, but we can learn from her courage and determination. So the question I'm leaving you with as we're going to the news, what's your business legacy? And how will you lead and inspire your team today? Do share with us your story, 0719 100 404. Your handles, quickly. How do we get a hold of you, Israel, so you can help us do better in our businesses?
Right. You can get in touch with me on my mobile, 0773 056 745 or 0719 056 745. Or my LinkedIn, it's Israel Nemangandu, and then Facebook, Israel Nemangandu.
How we